What's going on, YouTube? Fred from Birdland BS here with another video. I want to dive into what I saw last night in the Ravens preseason game against the Rams. First off, I'm going to preface this video and let you know that I'm aware that everything I'm going to say was against second and third teamers. I know everything. The Rams didn't have the majority of their starters playing, so I'm well aware of that before you guys leave comments on the video about that. But anyway, one of the biggest things that I was looking at in this game was to see the offensive line depth get better, and I was pleasantly surprised. I thought that, first of all, Orlando Brown played about 80% of the snaps again and killed it. Did a great job. This guy is well on his way to locking up the right tackle position as a starter, which really helps solidify that offensive line and gives them some flexibility with Skura and Lewis and Hurst. You know, you get Marshall Yanda back, and you solidify the tackles with Stanley and Brown. That gives them the flexibility to kind of move those guys around depending upon who they're playing against and who they're matched up against, that kind of thing. So I like that. But beyond those guys is where I was worried, especially after the first game. And look, the offensive line still didn't do great, especially later in the second half. Lamar again had to started running for his life. Same thing with RGIII. But there was some improvement. There was definitely some improvement there. Big thing that they improved on was some of the run blocking. It wasn't a ton of running plays, but the running game was very effective. And I know, I had said before that was one of my concerns, was how was the running back team going to do behind Collins and Buck Allen? And we got to see a good dose of Edwards and Thompson. Look, I don't know if these two guys even make the roster. I still think, the Ravens have some cap room, and I think that they'll use that cap room once a veteran back gets cut later in training camp. Once the rosters start getting closer to 53, I think the Ravens will want to shore that up with a veteran back. But if they don't, what I've seen out of Edwards and Thompson was pretty good. I mean, Edwards did miss a pass basically thrown right to him out of the backfield, which I don't like that. Lord knows we don't need to see any more drops on this team. So I did see some good cutbacks and some good runs, which I liked out of those guys. We did get a little bit of look of Alex Collins, a couple of runs, and what was good is we got to see him with the majority of the starting offensive line, and dangerous. I'm telling you, this kid is primed to have another big year. Him and Buck Allen together, I think, form a good 1-2 combo. They complement each other very well. Like I've been saying before, I think that this running game could easily be a top 10 running game in the NFL. Weren't far away from it last year, and I think this year we get over that hump. The quarterback play, Flacco was on his game. It was one drive, or might have been two. I don't know. He was like 5 for 7, I think. I want to say, I think it was one drive. He went 70-some yards through the touchdown to Pat Ricard. What was good about Flacco, and the main thing that I really liked about his play, was his mobility. I talked about it before that, in training camp, I kind of seen more movement out of the pocket and getting away from the pass rush than I had in years past with Flacco, which is great because he's been all of a statue for the past couple of years. And, a lot of that's probably due to the injuries that we've talked about, the back injury and the knee injury. So good to see him healthy and, building a chemistry already with some of the new wide receivers. Michael Crabtree had a good game. What I like about him is you could tell how long he's been in the league. He's smart. He ran a simple hook pattern, knew he was covered, broke coverage, went up the field, and if Flacco would have let him a little bit further, probably would have had a touchdown on it, but he had to slow down to pull the catch in. But that was a 30-yard pass there, which was nice. Flacco also had a good connection with John Brown on a play, so I'm liking what I saw out of the first team offense. Lamar Jackson. What was really good about Lamar Jackson was when he was playing with the majority of the starting offensive line. When he actually had time to sit back in the pocket, read his checkdowns, and decide on where he wants to go without having to instantly make a move because he's the pocket's breaking down. He actually had some time. He made some good throws, and he had obviously a couple of decent runs. Look, the NFL game, and he said it before, and I know we've all talked about it. It's a much faster game, and there were a couple plays where he tried design runs, where he tried to run to the outside, almost like Madden. Running to the sideline to try to beat the guy to the sideline and cut up the field, and just was chased down twice by linebackers. But we all saw, obviously, the play 9 yards out from the goal line where he made their nose tackle look silly, and made another DB look a little lost out there as well. To score the touchdown. So, of course, the crowd went crazy. Everybody was excited to see that. That's the Lamar Jackson we all saw in college. But, he's still a rookie, though. He's still got a lot of things he's got to work on. His completion percentage was not great. I think he was like 7 of 18 or 7 of 16, something like that. His completion percentage wasn't great. But he did have the one really good pass to Chris Moore, which, shout out to Chris Moore, man. That kid, he's come a long way since we drafted him out of Cincinnati. He was just more of a down the field type threat, burner kind of guy is what everybody said coming out of college. But he's come into his own, coming all around wide receiver, good route runner. He's got really good hands. And he obviously still has the speed. But yeah, so him and Lamar had that nice connection there. So pretty happy. Obviously, 33-7 doesn't mean much, just the preseason. But offensively, we looked pretty good. Like I said, the biggest concern for me is offensive line depth and the running back depth, which I'm still thinking we're going to address both of those come closer to roster cut down time once some teams make some trimming of the fat, to say the least. Defense, obviously the big player from last week in the Hall of Fame game, Kamale Correa, I wanted to see him back that up with another big performance. Didn't really hear much from him. He was pretty quiet all game. So kind of disappointed that I didn't get to see much from him. But what I was encouraged by, obviously Matt Judon wasn't out there for long, but he was able to get in the backfield and pick up a sack. But I think the guy that I was looking to really see make a step, and I've been hearing about him in training camp, that he's looked good, was Tim Williams, and he did. He had a good game. He had a few times where he was in the backfield and pretty close. but he had the one sacked fumble, forced fumble that we recovered. I mean, he laid that guy out. So good to see the pass rush making some noise, because that's just going to make everything on the defensive side of the ball easier. It's going to make the DB's job a lot easier. The lack of speed that we have on the back end of the defense in Weddle and Jefferson, it's going to help those guys out. So I'm really hoping that we see the pass rush step in. You know, Tyus Bowser didn't suit up last night. He's still dealing with his injury. Want to see that guy get out there and make a big jump from year 1 to year 2. Matt Judon, I want to see him in the double digits of sacks this year. I want to see him lead the team in sacks this year. I want to see him supplant Terrell Suggs in sacks. He's got to be the guy that takes over for Terrell Suggs ultimately when Terrell Suggs decides to hang it up. But yeah, I mean, defensively, obviously the big play was Mark Kennedy with the one-handed pick, which was nice. I didn't see him. From my vantage point, I thought that was about to be a big play, and dude just jumped out of nowhere and made that catch. Read the play well. When you go back and look at the replay, I mean, he saw that kind of coming, which was nice. A smart play. So yeah, I mean, I liked what I saw defensively. I liked what I saw with the team overall. Whether it was against 2s and 3s or not, this is a good football team in the Los Angeles Rams. Very good football team. A deep football team. So, very good game. And I think the biggest thing, and I hate even mentioning it just because I don't want to jinx it, but the biggest thing for me is that we came out of this game again healthy, no big injuries, which is huge. Again, it's just kind of still, it's only week 1 of the preseason. They call it week 1 because the Hall of Fame game doesn't count as a week per se. So we still got 3 more preseason games to go. Next 2 games we're on the road. Then we come home for the 4th game against Washington at M&T Bank, which I'll be at as well. Appreciate you guys tuning in as always. I appreciate all you new followers. If you haven't followed before, make sure you do. This channel, it's Birdland BS. We do an audio podcast once a week. We live stream it on YouTube, and all we're talking is Birdland sports with some BS opinions. It's just me and a couple of my buddies. We give you our insight, amateur as it may be. We give you our insight, and we give you guys a chance to interact with us and leave your questions and your comments, and we try to work them into the show. So we appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in as always. Be sure to hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, and turn on your notifications. That way during the live stream you guys can come on here, ask us some questions, and we can get you on the show. Appreciate you guys.